Being very entitled and controlling, narcissists have no difficulty stepping all over your personal boundaries. So that's why I put together an extensive video class called This Is Me. It has 25 videos, written documents, guided questions. I'm going to teach you how to have healthy boundaries. There's a link below, and I hope you'll find it to be quite therapeutic. I have to admit that I tend to have a conflicted sense of thought and feeling when somebody uses that phrase, I've got my rights. Now, on one hand, I'm thinking, well, of course you do. You want a sense of fairness and equality. You want to be heard. You want other individuals to recognize just core decency. And my response when somebody says, I have my rights at times is, yes, go get them and stand up for who you are. On the other hand, though, I'm very aware that that phrase is often steeped in raw selfishness. And of course, when you're dealing with individuals with a strong narcissistic bent, when that person says, I have my rights, it tends not to go in the right kind of direction. Narcissists want to pursue their rights at your expense. And part of the defining feature of their narcissism is they don't exhibit empathy while they're in the pursuit of their personal rights. They don't have a real high level of conscientiousness. They don't have any particular sense of fairness. They do have lots of entitlement and an exaggerated sense of their own self-importance. So when the narcissist comes along and says, I have my rights, it's like, ugh, this is not going to be very pretty as it unfolds. Now, to that effect, I want to talk with you about the sense of rights that a narcissist has, and it'll give you an idea of how they think and how they process. And as we do, it can give you an idea of what you're up against so that you can plan properly as you respond to their assertions. Now, one of the first things that a narcissist will say is, I have the right to be the controlling voice here. Like I say, they have a lot of self-importance. And so the narcissist starts when they engage with you with the thought that says, I'm the best. I'm smarter. You just need to accept it. My controlling initiatives are reasonable. I have my right to be that way. And then taking it a little bit further, they also say, therefore, I have the right to have the final word when you and I are in any kind of disagreement. If you don't agree with me, but I go ahead and assert my rights, I'm doing you a favor. In arguments or in major decisions or with opinions, the narcissists, they think, well, I really do need to be the one that has the final word. I'm saving you from your sorry self. Another way that they pronounce their rights is they'll think, well, when it's necessary, I actually have the right to insult you, and I have a right to remind you of your many flaws. And you'll notice that they're not very bashful about that one, because you see, in their mind, they're doing you a favor by reminding you of how ignorant you are. And so to them, they think you need me in your life to keep you humble and to keep you in your place. And in me doing so, I'm doing everybody a favor again. Now, taking that a little bit further, the narcissist can even go so far as to say, and I also have the right to punish you. And this explains why they're so commonly the bully. And in their way of thinking, it's like, well, when you err or when you come against me, I'm going to make your life miserable so that you'll change and so that you'll be more conformed to me. It's my right, it's my duty, it's my honor to insult you and to punish you. Now, taking a little bit further, they also have this notion, and this is one of the central themes of the narcissist. They have the notion that says, I have the right to special treatment. And again, because I'm a better person than you, I want to have the best seat at the table. I want to have favored treatment. I want material gain. I want to be exposed to very important people. They need to listen to me, and I need to curry their favor. I have that right. I'm special, and I need for people to know that about me. Now, adding on to that, they'll also say, I have a right to my personal privacy. Now, again, you see something like that, it's like, well, that's not entirely wrong. But to a narcissist, that's code for, I'm going to keep secrets. And I don't want any accountability. You don't need to know my personal business. I have my right to privacy, which means I don't really feel all that connected to you because it's all about me. I don't want you knowing who I am and what my ultimate reasoning is or what my behind the scenes goings on are. That's entirely up to me. Now, on top of that, they don't mind trashing you, so they think to themselves, well, I have the right to spread unflattering intel about you toward other individuals. People need to know who you really are, and it's my job, it's my right, it's my duty to explain that. And they may say like, yeah, this person over here, he or she had a really bad temper, or they made some major mistakes, but they tend to provide proper context. But they want to make sure that other individuals know I'm better than you, and the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to run a smear campaign. I have that right. Now, in addition, they'll say I have the right to tell you no. Now, again, this is one of those, it's like, well, there are times when that's actually accurate. But again, that's code for if you think I'm going to be cooperative, think again. And so they're going to tell you no just simply because it's like, I don't want to bend toward you. I don't want to blend, or I don't want to harmonize. I don't do something like that. It's my right to say no. No, you don't have that same right, but I do. In addition, they can think to themselves, when you come against me, I have the right to retaliate. And if you are, if you feel like you've been harmed by me and you push against me, then it's reasonable for me to do that in reverse. You give me some garbage, I'm going to give you some garbage right back. They have a zero sense of diplomacy. Harmony is not even on their radar screen. On top of that, you know that narcissists have plenty of issues with their anger, and they'll say, yeah, you got that right, and I have a right to be angry. Now, again, there are times when anger can have its reasonable purpose, but we're talking about somebody who's using their anger in the context of their narcissism. They make no distinction between aggressive anger versus assertive anger. If you've listened to some of my other videos, you know that I mentioned that assertive anger is standing up for who you are and what you believe, while at the same time maintaining a sense of decency and dignity. Aggressive anger means, yeah, I'm going to stand up for me, and I don't really care what it does to you. And so it does so at the expense of the other individuals. Yeah, they're going to get angry, and they're going to feel very justified. And if they have to be mean and harsh, too bad for you. I've got my rights. Now, in addition, they also say, I have a right to special admiration. You see, I'm quite special and unique. I mentioned that, but it's good. It's necessary for you to regale me and to acknowledge how distinct I am. And of course, this is coming from their place of superiority. So people can say, I have my rights. And as I mentioned, there's a time when that's very reasonable. It's, in fact, sometimes very necessary. But when we're talking about this pursuing personal rights that accompanies the narcissist, what it tells us, what it reveals, is these are individuals who are highly demanding. They're uber sensitive. If they ever receive any kind of redirection or any kind of suggestion that's contrary to their thoughts, they just interpret that as just harsh criticism. It's like, you don't have the right to criticize me. Like I said earlier, I can do that to you, but you can't do that to me. They're closed off from any kind of collaborative efforts. They don't listen. They're highly defensive. And on top of that, their insecurity is on full display. When they say, well, it's all about me and not about you, it's like, no, I've got to be the center of attention, you see, because I don't have any internal piece to draw upon. So I'm counting on you to give it to me. And they're quite willing to manipulate and exploit and use people to get what they think that they deserve. You see, when narcissists pursue their own personal rights, they forget two things. Number one, they forget you have rights too. But with the narcissist, it's like, well, I'm blind to you. I'm blind to your humanity. I'm blind to whatever is legitimate and with respect to your needs. I have rights. I don't care about your rights. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't even exist. And then a second thing that they tend to forget is that pursuing rights is best kept in balance by also maintaining an attitude of responsibility for the greater good. Narcissists will say, I have my rights, but what would it be like if they were to say, but I also have my responsibilities too? Let's factor that in. What would that lead me to do? They just completely forget. Instead, they think, well, I'm the better person here. And when I try to tell you about how good I am, I'm actually doing you a favor. They completely miss the whole notion of our interconnectedness and making room for diversity and complexity and nuance. It's just all about me when we're dealing with the narcissist. So unlike the narcissist, I do hope that you can pursue your rights and that you can pursue it in the context of being as responsible and healthy and balanced as you can. You can still stand up for yourself, have your boundaries, have your assertions, but do so with the notion that says we're all going to be in the same boat down the road. Let me make sure that I do it right. So unlike the narcissist, pursue your rights appropriately. And then because of the narcissist, you want to make sure that you stand squarely on what you know is wisest and best. Let's keep in mind when narcissists say, I have my rights, there's one major element missing, and that's wisdom. They don't have wisdom. They don't care about wisdom. They just need to be right. And so I'm hoping you can pursue your rights and you do so inside the context of good wisdom. I hope that videos like this can give you some good food for thought and a better understanding of what you're dealing with. If you haven't already hit that subscribe button, I would encourage you to do so. We're going to keep more videos coming towards you. Hit that notification bell when you subscribe. Thank you for allowing me to be on your journey with you. Now, I know that many times when you're dealing with something like this, it just rings a bell for you and you think, you know what, I could use some therapy. And you probably know by now that I've been sponsored for years by the people at BetterHelp.com. They're a whole team of licensed professional therapists. You go through the link that's below this video and you respond to a few questions, and then you get to select the therapist that you can work with. And it can be so refreshing for someone to say, let's talk about who you are and what your needs and legitimate issues are, and let's figure out how to move forward with that. Please, as the need is there, get the assistance that you would need. Now, in addition, as I've retired from my counseling practice of over 40 years, I've put together courses, and each course reflects a great deal of work that I've done with respect to the topic of the course. We have anger games, which is self-explanatory, staying out of their traps. We have This Is Me, about establishing your boundaries. Free to Be, finding yourself. Ready, Set, Connect, about good connections. In addition, on my website, you're going to find my webinars, which are 90-minute PowerPoint presentations that have proven to be quite popular, along with my articles, my podcast, access to my books, etc. Okay, you can say, I have my rights. And my thinking is, that's good. Now, we need that. The narcissist says, well, I have my rights. And I'm thinking, here it comes. Because they don't have that wisdom. They don't have that accompanying sense of responsibility. I hope that you can see through the garbage that they bring. They're deeply insecure. And I'm hoping you can pursue your sense of well-being while also pursuing a sense of steadiness and reasonableness, decency. And then in the end, I'm hoping that you will be quite well positioned to be a person of peace